So we just want to thank everybody for jumping on this month's Lunch and Learn program. Really today's about taking conversations and turning them into customers. We have three presenters on the call today. Dan Sharp will be kicking us off. Dan is our ARA Senior Director of Communications and Operations. And then we also have two folks from ListenForce. We have Casey Miyasaki, who is the Head of Training and Coaching, and Daryl Price, who is the Operations Manager with ListenForce. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the call. We will be recording it and we'll send it out to anybody who is not able to attend, or if you do have to leave early due to business needs. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Dan to get us started.
I think you lost Dan.
I think you're right. So let's do this. Let's pivot, and we will start with Casey or Daryl. I don't know who's kicking us off.
Casey is.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Guys, my name is Casey Miyasaki. I'm super grateful to be here. As Jeff mentioned, I am the head of coaching and training at ListenForce. And our goal is to turn every conversation into a customer. And so that's what we are going to talk about today. How do we do that? And what is behind the conversation? What is behind a sale? And why do people choose to work with you versus a competitor? So one thing I would like to invite you to do first is just to put away your phones and distractions just for a few minutes. And I really want you to embrace the role of a customer. So think of all of our customers are calling because they need to rent something. And so I really want you to embrace and take that role on, because what we're going to do is I'm going to play a few different phone calls. And this is exactly what we do is we record calls and I listen to them all day long, and what is working on this call and what is not working. And so without you guys knowing anything about us at this point, I just want you to tune into how does this call feel? If you are the customer calling in, how does it feel? Statistics show that people do business based off emotion. They purchase and make decisions based off emotion. So these feelings are very important here. So can you guys see Jeff, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yep, you're good.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just play the first few seconds of this first call. And what I'd like you to do is I'm going to play two calls. And as I play both of them, please put in the chat, what would you do? Would you like a rep from your company to answer the phone like this? Pay attention to their tone of voice. You know, as you listen to their tone, is that open? Is it, what message do you get based on their tone of voice? And then also, is it work for you as a customer? Does it bring the feeling that you would like your customers to feel? So I'm going to play this first one. Here we go. And go ahead and put in the comments, yes or no. Yes, I want my rep to answer this way, or no, I don't.
Nice again.
I'm going to play that one more time.
Marius Larry from Stewart Industrial. Nice again.
So it's just the opening greeting. So what did you get as a customer based off his tone, based off his, the way he speaks, what he says, and go ahead and share whatever comes to you in the chat. And also share yes or no. I would like to hear from everyone, yes or no at least. Is this how you would like your rep to represent your company? And as you do that, I'm going to play the second call.
One call, Reynolds. This is Frank. How can I help you?
I'm going to play that second call one more time.
One call, Reynolds. This is Frank. How can I help you?
So I'm looking at the chat here. I have it on a separate screen. So the second one is better. Busy person answering no. it sounds like a busy person answering, seems bored and uninterested. The second call is better. Awesome, great feedback. So this is when we do training, we analyze and listen to our calls, the company's calls. And this is the exact feedback that we got. It sounds like they're too busy for me, that I'm interrupting their day as a customer. And this is all feedback that we don't want our customers to feel this way. We want our customers to feel welcome. Yes, we're happy to help. And so now that you heard those, I'm going to play a third call and say yes or no. Would you like this rep to be representing your company? And then also share what feelings you get from her as well.
Good morning, I'm from Park with Allison.
Good morning.
So this is just based off the intro. I'm going to play it one more time as you respond.
Good morning, I'm from Park with Allison.
So yes or no, would you like her to represent your company? And why? What comes up for you? And as you guys share in the chat, some of the things that come up is tone of voice is big. There's an influx. When there's an influx in your tone of voice, it takes more energy, which means it's going to take more energy. And if I'm willing to give more energy into my greeting, then there's a correlation that I'm going to give you more energy to take care of your problem. And so we dissect the little intricacies and the skills of all of these calls. We break it down. Kelly seems polite. Matt says, seems polite. Kelly says, yes, she seems like she's smiling. But I would extend it one step further to say, how can I help you today? Kelly, you are right on the money. And in fact, she actually does say that later. I just want to focus on the very first intro. So you are right on the money. And these are things that we talk about all the time. I love the fact, Kelly, that you say it seems she's smiling. We were just doing training last week with the company, and we talked about visualizing the rep. From the first two calls, if you were to visualize what their body language was, what would it look like to you? Do you think that they're sitting up tall, or do you think that they're slouching? And then when you compare that to the third call, what do you imagine her? And just like Kelly said, she seems like she's smiling. You actually can hear a smile. So Kelly, thank you for that feedback. I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to Daryl. Daryl, go ahead and step on in. He is our head of operations. So take it away.
Okay, guys, before I jump in, first off, thank you, Casey, for really getting people into actually hearing calls. I think that is so important. Sometimes we don't even understand the impressions we give people on the phone. But I do want to give a little bit of background. So between Casey and I, we have over 20 years experience doing corporate training, doing training on customer experience, helping people turn every conversation into a customer. And I want to ask a very serious question. Those of you that are participating in the chat, thank you so, so much. Those of you that aren't participating yet, participate. Because I'll tell you, the moment you take the chance to say, I'm going to give an answer, I'm going to be part of this, not just passively listening, things will actually start to sink in that may not even be the exact point that everybody else gets, but will make a difference for you. We've been doing this for over 20 years, and I can tell you the ones who see the biggest increase from what we're about to teach you today are the ones who are willing to be actively participating when we do a training. And this is a very brief training compared to some that we do, but we're going to give you some valuable nuggets you can take and apply with you, your reps, and your company immediately after this. And we're here to support you in that. So my question to all of you is this: who is the most important person in your company? And I'm going to wait here awkwardly, silently until we get some answers. Who's the most important person in your company? Greg says the customer. The customer, Michael agrees. The service techs, Matt says. Awesome.
No, I'm going.
What do you say, Paul? Did you have an answer, Paul? I heard you say something. Okay. So Greg and Michael, I think you're right on the money. It is the customer, but let's dig deeper than that. It is not the customer. It is whatever customer you are paying attention to right now. Whoever's on the phone right now, whoever you are sending an email to right now is the most important person in the company. And the moment the customer feels that I'm important enough that I've got 100% attention from this company, they feel like you're on their team. They feel like you are working with them. They feel like it's a whole different experience than what they get at every other rental place who just wants to hurry up and get an order in. So does that make sense? And go ahead and give me a yes or a thumbs up. I want to make sure we're on the same page here. I know. Give me a yes or a thumbs up if that makes sense to you. And go ahead and hit that next slide, Casey. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. So helping people, thank you, Kelly. Thank you for the thumbs up. Helping people turn every conversation into a customer. And this includes people that are existing customers. Really, we use this methodology that we've used for many, many years, but it's really about what happens when you connect with that person on the phone. And we go through this with every one of our clients. What are the skills you need to build a connection? What are the skills you need to show you're really listening? What are the skills you need to acknowledge that customer where they are with the issue they're coming with? Thank you for the thumbs up, Michael. What are the skills you need to make a recommendation that makes them feel like you're on their team? And then even if you're in a service and parts department and maybe not in a rental department, what are the skills you need to make a commitment, which is a close, of what you're going to do next together as a customer and a provider? And so it is so, so important. And this is what we're going to talk about today, is just that connect section. If you don't have a connection, the rest of it doesn't matter. The person you're talking to right now, whoever that is the most important person in your company. And if you take that approach with every interaction, you are now building a team with your customers, and it's a whole different ballgame. So let's dig a little bit deeper of what it is we teach here in the Connect section, what Casey and I work with clients all over the nation on. So go ahead to that next slide. So in the Connect section, and like I said, there's skills in all of them, but we're just going to talk about Connect. You guys already picked up on tone in the comments you said in those phone calls. And it's very, very easy from the outside listening to pick up on that maybe the caller and the person answering doesn't even realize they did. So that tone is so important because yes, you can hear a smile as much as you can see it. You can hear that eagerness. You can hear that they are not taking the stress of whatever else just happened into the phone call. Then the greeting. One of the things that is so interesting, and one of the people said it, Kelly, you said it, where she should add, how can I help you today? Absolutely. We want to solve the customer's problem. But here's a mindset shift that makes all the difference when it deals with customer experience. Customers will go over and over and over again to someone they trust, even if they once made a mistake. But if you're focused on the problem of how can I help you? Well, how can I solve this problem when you make a mistake? They may or may not come back. So the greeting that we tell people to use for a reason, because psychologically you're building an immediate connection. Thank you for calling ListenForce. Thank you for calling the ARA. Thank you for calling Thompson Parts, whatever it is. Who am I speaking with? You've just told the customer they're more important than their problem. Yes, their problem's important. And through this 30-second call, you will help solve it. But they come first because the problem is a temporary. And we'll talk more about that in just a second. And using their name is so important to that personal connection, as well as acknowledging and taking ownership of the problem. I can help you with that. Let me be your team member that's going to help you solve this problem. Even if it's not my role, even if it's not something I know how to solve, let me help you in whatever way I can. So that's the gist of what we're doing. And I want to go, let's go back to that principle I just brought up and go to that next slide, Casey. Customer first, problem second. And I would even go beyond customer first and say it is people first. Connection with people is one of the number one things that's going to determine your success going forward. And let me give you a quick story. I'm going to give you a couple stories. So first off, from my own personal life, and it was so funny, before everybody was let in from the waiting room, we were talking at the ARA people and us here, Casey and I was going like this with my beard. And Casey makes the comment, your beard looks fine. I see you're there adjusting it. No, I'm actually loving how my beard was sculpted. It has been years since I've had my go-to barber who sculpts my beard the way I like. And so it's been a long time since I've been on camera and had my beard sculpted the way I like it to look. And here's what made all the difference. I've gone to lots of different places where they give me the haircut, the beard sculpting, etc., and they were okay, but they were just okay. I found this place a couple weeks or a week before we went to training last week in Tennessee with one of our clients. And it's a place down here that just opened up in South Texas. I walked in, immediately the guy says, "How do you want to feel? Tell me about you. What do you like to have as an experience when people see your beard and your hair?" He didn't say, "What number do you want me to use on the razor? You know, how short or how tall do you want it?" It wasn't about the problem. It was about me. When people are first and problem is second, that's when you build loyalty. Because which of those two is permanent, the people or the problem? Which of those two is permanent with anyone you're dealing with? Yes, Michael, the people. Yes, Kelly, the people. Do you guys agree? Yes, the people. Hopefully, I love that you said that, Greg. I love that you said that. We listen to phone calls every day where people come in and say, as quickly as they can, and you kind of heard that on the first call, "One call rental, this is Mike. How can I help you?" Do they even know who they're speaking to at that point? They don't. Because they didn't put the people first. They put the problem first. "I'm here to solve your problem. Get off the phone as quickly as possible." Which sounds like a good thing for a busy customer, right? If we forget if we ever forget that we are talking to a person, we've lost a chance to build a connection. When you put the people first and build a connection, every time that person is on the phone, even if it's a customer you've known for years, they're busy, they call us all the time, they just want to get their stuff done as quickly as possible. Great, I'm going to take 2 extra seconds to call him by name if I know who he is. I'm going to take 2 extra seconds to say, "Tell me more about what's going on," and get in a conversation about where they are as a person right now while I help solve their problem that's very urgent and busy. Because the moment I've got that connection with a person, they're not going anywhere else with the next problem or the next problem or the next problem. People are permanents. Problems are temporary. So when you dealing with any customer, whether it's email, whether it's chat, whether it's a phone call, however you're connecting, whether it's a Zoom meeting, if you put the people first and the problem second, you're creating a loyalty that says, "I know and value you, and I'm on your team." So let's talk about meeting them where they are. And I want to use another story here. So we were training at one of the largest cat dealerships in the nation this last week in Tennessee. And while we were there, we got to hear this amazing story about one of their reps. So this was a rep who works in their truck department in parts. And there was a customer who had called so many different people till they finally got to this rep. And she said, "Well, I've been looking up the part and I get how frustrating it is. You can't find it. Nobody seems to get back with you. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see when I can get it. It says in my system, it'll probably be in 2 weeks. I can't guarantee that. That's just what the system says. Let me make sure I get your info and I will check into it. As soon as I have a good date, I will call you back." So she didn't have the part. She wasn't confident when it was going to come back in. But she went and looked it up and did call him back. And the result of this was she got this amazing thank you card of, you are the only rep who called me back and took my problem seriously, which the funny thing was, she never solved the problem. What he's really saying is you connected with me and met me where I was and what I was dealing with. You saw what was happening for me. He ended up sending her a bouquet of flowers and a thank you basket and this big note, even though she never sold the part and didn't actually get it for him. She had nothing but maybe news for him. He didn't get his problem solved. How often, and this doesn't need to be answered in chat, but I want you to think about this. How often are you, your reps, or people you work with so focused on getting a problem solved, they forget they're talking to a real person? What would shift in your company if every time someone got on the phone, they were treated like a person, they were met where they are, even if that's upset? I understand how frustrating that could be. I mean, I could not even imagine how you must feel right now trying to get this and getting the runaround. Let me help you with that. Sometimes it's just the little tweaks that make all the difference, guys. And this is what we have been doing for 20 plus years. And in 20 plus years, we've seen so many situations where people say, yeah, that doesn't really matter to my customers. There's one thing that human beings crave more than anything else, and that's connection. Now, you don't have to get on a phone and go into someone's life story to build a connection. It takes 2 seconds of, who am I speaking with? Let me use your name. I'm meeting you where you are. You and what we're doing right now is important to me. Do you think whatever companies you're working in, whatever it is you are working on, whatever your customer base is, do you think if you took a few seconds to make sure you had a personal connection with everyone you talked to, that your sales would go up? How many of you actually believe that would be the case? Anybody? Yeah, I am the king of silently waiting until we get a response, awkwardly. I love that you said that, Greg. Most likely, assuming I had enough time to follow through. One of the things we teach later on in our training is make a commitment and keep a commitment to build trust on every interaction. And also be careful not to make a commitment you can't keep. Who else? Greg thinks they would. Paul says, yes, definitely. I like the idea of know, like, and trust. Oh, absolutely. That's kind of at the core of what we teach. Thank you, Paul. And for everyone else, I want to tell you, so it was eye-opening to Casey and I as we kind of looked back at the bigger picture of what we're doing with our clients and realizing that some of the companies we've been working with, and I'm just going to take cat dealerships as an example. We work with many more companies than just cat dealerships. But the reason I'm taking this, it's fresh in my mind. We just got back from training. It was really eye-opening to us as we took a step back and looked at the bigger picture and realized the companies we've been working with on these skills that are starting to master that with all their reps have moved up to the number 2 cat dealership in the nation as far as customer experience, and the number 4 cat dealership in the nation as far as customer experience. Neither one of them are considered the biggest, but they're now ranked 2 and 4 for customer experience as far as cat dealerships are concerned. Ooh, Tina, I love this comment. Not every prospect is our ideal customer, and when we can't solve their problem, we will gladly refer them to someone who can. That's it. That's the heart of it right there. It doesn't matter if you can solve the problem. Connect with the person exactly as they are. And if there is something you can solve, you're first in mind. If there's somebody who they know that, hey, you can help this person, they're referring you. Paul says, problem is we probably spend too much time on social media trying to build relationships other than the one-on-one personal connection. Absolutely. We have a social media presence. We have videos out there that are great ways to show people what we can do, for example, with ListenForce. But I'll tell you, as quickly as possible, it is, let's get on a call. Let us help you with your situation. I want to know who you are. And I think that there's something that's been lost to technology, that makes us crave connection even more. It is so quick and easy to go on Amazon and order your entire life. But there are certain stores I will always go to because of the people there and the way they treat me, even if it's cheaper on Amazon. And you're going to hear, as I turn it back over to Casey, we've got some feedback that is just going to blow your mind to prove what we're talking about today. Does anyone have any questions about the idea of putting people first and the problem second, and how much impact that has on your customers? And if not, that's okay. All right, Casey, I'm handing you the baton back.
Thank you, Daryl. I'm gonna go over this, just as Daryl had mentioned, there is one call here that is my favorite call of all times. Being the head of coaching and training, the immediate feedback to a rep who has mastered the skill of connecting over the phone is invaluable. Like, it is so exciting for the rep to hear, and that's what you're going to hear here. Is this rep has mastered the skills that we have provided for her, but even more than that, she has mastered the art of connecting, just like Paul was saying, that one-to-one personal connection over the phone. So as you listen to this call, hear that this is, ask yourself if this is a rep that you would want to have on your team, and if that is, if she is putting the customer first and the problem second. So here we go.
This is Tabitha. How may I help you? Hi, Tabitha. This is Callie Wombat with Oliver's Collar.
Hey, how's it going, Callie?
You are so cheerful. I got to tell you, I worked at a lot of companies, small and large. I've been the office manager. I've been the one answering the phone. And your greeting and your response to everything I've asked and said has been the main catalyst for me telling my husband, I want to go with JD Plumbing.
Oh my gosh.
And then when Aaron was so nice and so wonderful, even though the price is higher than we wanted to pay, no one else will either call me back, give me something accurate, tell me how the world's going to end. I mean, everybody else has been crap. You guys are so professional. So anyway, we're absolutely going with you guys. Do you want to?
So as you hear that, the immediate feedback right away, number one is, yes, the rep, gets the immediate feedback, gets the pat on the back, and it's super exciting. But all of the deep layers of what she shared, it doesn't matter that you guys are a little bit more expensive. It doesn't matter, but simply because your greeting, she starts with first, your greeting is so pleasant and is so positive and welcoming. And then she goes into, what I love about this call is she starts with Tabitha, the rep, and compliments her in her greeting. But then she expands that, and she expands that now Tabitha becomes the company. And now the company has a great vision to this customer because of Tabitha. That now there's the follow through, and now there's that. And you know what? We don't care that you're more expensive. We're going to come here because we know that we are going to be taken care of. We know that you care about me first as the customer. And I know because you care about me as the customer that you're going to solve not just one of my problems, but all of the problems. So that is what we do here at ListenForce. And Jeff, I'm going to turn that back over to you.
All right, great. That was really, really great content. I appreciate you guys sharing that with us. Before I turn it over to Dan to kind of cover some of the information around our ad campaign and really what you can do to bring new customers to your door, to your website, to your phones, I just wanted to share some of the benefits that you're going to get with our partnership with ListenForce. So they are providing free secret shopper calls to the locations. They're providing call samples, coachable call reporting for you. What they did today was a small sampling of their training. We do have several members of ours already who are utilizing their service. You know, they mentioned the cat dealers, but it goes all the way down to, you know, smaller companies as well. So there is no, you know, limit to the size that they're looking for to help. Our partnership with them is really to enable you to grow your business. I'm excited they're going to be at the show in Orlando in February as well. So if you want to catch up with them there, there's also on our website where you can link with them as well as far as getting your free services. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to, Daryl, go ahead.
1 second before you turn it over to Dan, because I have a question for everybody. And I am watching the chat. And by the way, guys, those of you who participated, wonderful, awesome. I'm hoping the rest of you are still getting some good content out of us. But when it comes to these free call analysis that we're doing, I want to tell you why we're doing it. We believe in the mission of the ARA. We realize as a community, we together are much stronger than just a lot of individual companies. We're facing the same things. We're facing the same transitions. And if we can give one little thing back to make a difference in this industry, we've been in this industry for many years. We're happy to do it. How many of you think if we were just to get on and help coach with 2 to 3 different calls and walk through some skills with you, it would make a difference to the way you're connecting with your customers now? Would that make a difference to you? And let me point out, while you're answering, we do that for every ARA member for free. We're here to help you guys. We'll get on and review calls with you and go through the coaching and point out areas where you could build an easier connection with your customers and create that relationship of trust. Do you think that would help you? I see a lot of crickets in that chat room. There we go. Kelly says definitely helpful.
Awesome.
The few people we've done this with that have taken advantage of this already, I will tell you, they have seen leaps and bounds. Thank you, eRentals, definitely. Greg, perfect. Yes, there we go. Now we're getting responses. But they have seen improvements in leaps and bounds just from a couple sessions where we come in and analyze a few calls. Because sometimes you're just not aware of what's going on until someone from outside says, hey, let me show you what I picked up on. Let me help you tweak just a little bit. That makes a big difference to the customer on the other side. Paul, we get a lot of pushback from the old school. We are pros at getting the old school convinced that this makes their job easier, and they love it.
All right, Dan, floor is yours.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen real quick here. All right. I think everyone, can you guys see my deck? Thumbs up if you can.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, well, super happy to be here this afternoon with you all. I just want to say that was an awesome presentation from the folks at ListenForce. That was the first time I had been in one of your guys' presentations. And it's amazing the approach you take, the fluidity of the approach, the customer first approach to everything. And I think that, you know, the more that we talk about how sales and marketing work hand in hand, I think a lot of the points you made, a lot of marketers, including myself, forget to touch on. So I think it's very important to show and portray how those two work hand in hand. So today, what I wanted to do, and some of you may know this, some of you may not know this, is we currently have a national advertising campaign running for rental. One of the 5 main strategic pillars that we had identified a few years back when we put our strategic plan together was to really raise the national awareness of rental across the board, to eliminate confusion, to make sure that we're educating folks on exactly what rental is across the 4 verticals that we have members in: construction, DIY party, DIY home, event. We wanted to make sure that we're representing that in a way that's trackable, but can also be done nationally. So I just wanted to go over kind of the current state of that campaign, and then some things that we've learned through it, feedback that we've gotten from members, and just sort of things that we've learned that can be done with a limited budget digitally. That's one of the great things about this industry, more so than any other industry that I've worked in or worked with, is just how collaborative this industry is, and the free sharing of ideas. Like that chat was a great example during ListenForce's training. So I'll just dive into a couple things. So we started this national campaign in 2021, and it had strong success in terms of traffic to Rental HQ. And then so we kept it running in 2022, and we're going to continue to run it into 2023. So the main goal of the campaign, yes, is to raise awareness nationally about rental, but how do we show that? What are the ways that we actually show tangible results that we're doing that? And we have the resource Rental HQ, which is the largest rental store locator. It's basically Google for rental stores for the members that are in our database. So we said, let's take all these ads that we're running digitally and make sure that we're driving the traffic to Rental HQ, because that's the only way we're going to keep ourselves accountable and be able to see exactly what the true results are for search traffic and website traffic. So just some bullets here of the things that we have done in 2021 and 2022 to drive traffic to that site. So we took a full digital marketing campaign approach as opposed to traditional media. And when I say traditional media, I mean things like radio, billboards, TV. And the reason for that is that it allows us to maximize our budget as best we can. But also, if we're seeing issues with a certain type of creative, or if we're not getting the traffic we want out of a certain channel, we can cut it anytime. We're tracking this week to week, sometimes day to day, to make sure that we're getting efficient users. And if we're not, we can move it. And that's the beauty of digital, is that it's all trackable and you can make changes really, really quickly. So some of the tactics that we've been running, paid social media ads have been really strong, especially on the Facebook platform we've seen. We are also running ads on Pinterest, and we've been running some workforce development ads testing out on LinkedIn as well. Programmatic and retargeting ads, those are all behavior based. So if we see that a certain IP address has searched for something that might, like DIY project or construction project, or some of the keywords of rental stores near me, keywords like that, they would be served a banner ad or our video ads. One thing that we've dug into recently in 2022 is YouTube influencer adjacent. So working with our agency partners, we've identified certain YouTube personalities that have really kind of DIY type channels is where we've started with. And we've seen a good influx of traffic from there to Rental HQ and video views with ads that run in between their YouTube videos. But our two biggest traffic drivers are Google AdWords and just making sure the content on our site is loaded with search term keywords, so that when folks search on Google, we're appearing in the Google searches either on the first or second page, just depending on that person's internet or online behavior. So those are some of the tactics we have. I just wanted to touch really quickly as well on what those analytics have looked like in 2022. So this is measuring from January 1st, 2022, all the way to mid-November. And this just basically shows us where we're at, how we're performing. And we've seen the traffic of Rental HQ grow over the past 2 years due to this campaign. So sessions just basically refers to how many times people have been on the site in 2022 Rental HQ, and it's almost 1.5 million, almost 3 million page views, and we're comfortably at 1.3 individual users to the site. The average session duration is right around a minute, so that does show that folks are spending time likely to at least take one search while they're there, and the pages per session, 1.87, at least shows that roughly 2 pages are being viewed, so the home page and the search. And then just paid media impressions, all the things, the tactics I was talking about previously. The ads throughout all those tactics, an ad has been served 88 million times to our targeted consumers. So overall, it's pretty effective. But what are some of the things that we've learned while going through this? There's been a lot of learnings. This is the first time I think ARA has ran a fully digital national campaign. So what's interesting about it is that we found that there's a lot of ways to be more cost effective through this. And some things that we found out, learnings and discussing things with members, is that there is ways that we can be more efficient. And three of those things that I would just like to focus on here that really anybody can do on a smaller budget is boosted social posts. We found that even like $50 to $100 just on a single post, boosting a single post, like if there's a really strong promotion or if there's a brand new creative on an ad that we wanted to get out, even that small amount of money can add thousands of views to a single post, which results in a lot more engagement, more comments, more likes, and will keep you in folks' feeds. It's pretty crazy how competitive that area has become. I was actually cracking up. I saw someone post a comment about staying on social media. Too many people are on social media, and then our analytics show us that there's just so many people on social media, and it's really hard to fight for that tone of voice. So every little bit of something there you can do to get through to consumers is huge. And then search engine optimization, that's just a fancy way of saying like, get me higher in Google results, because that's where folks are searching, is always Google. So it's just little things that we found out, like making sure photos are labeled properly on our website and making sure that our site map matches the actual content of what's on our site. Google loves all that stuff. And it'll only credit you more and more by getting you higher up in the search results if you adjust it and make sure it's accurate. Also, along with the keyword content on the website, if you want folks to search for rental or rental operation near me or rental store near me, sometimes you have to load up the content on the website with that. We have articles on Rental HQ that are just really dedicated towards keywords. Like, yes, we want folks to be engaged in the content, but we also want to make sure that the keywords are helping us with our search results. And then just getting on other channels, getting your brand name out there on like YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. It just helps towards you have a bigger presence online, and it's going to help with your search results overall. And then AdWords, like I mentioned, that's one of our strongest traffic driver. That's through the Google platform. I've seen folks spend $500, $600 a month, and it can make a huge difference in their search results, just bidding on keywords that are specific to the industry. Depending on what terms you want to bid on, some are way more expensive than others, but there's always creative ways to work around that. So this has been a really great experiment for ARA, and I think it's really shown that our traffic has increased greatly to Rental HQ, and there's a lot of learnings that we can share and hopefully work together and be collaborative with more and more ideas as we move forward. What I'm going to do before this call ends is I'm going to put my email and LinkedIn profile in the chat. And I just encourage anyone, if you want to reach out to me with any thoughts on anything or any questions that you have or any way that we can help with any type of marketing or any ideas that we can bounce off each other, I always encourage that. Because like I said, that's one of my favorite things about this industry is just the openness and collaboration. So I'll put that information in here. The other thing I would remind, and maybe Jeff can close out with talking a little bit more to this, is that if you haven't worked with the membership team to get your product codes updated with their information and to get all your proper information in Rental HQ, I would definitely do so. And again, it's another great free resource that we're really making a big push to drive a lot of traffic to raise that national awareness. So Jeff, I don't know if you wanted to talk any more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all of the information Dan talked about on his third slide there around Rental HQ and the traffic that we've seen there, both from independent users to the sessions to the duration, our job is really to help you guys drive the business. So if you're interested or you don't have your product line on Rental HQ, reach out to one of us in membership. I will be sending out an email after the call as well. And basically what we do is it pins you on a map, shows you exactly, it shows the consumer who in that area rents that particular thing. And then you get a quarterly report for the number of impressions that your particular location has gotten. So it's really our way to help promote and market your business on top of the individual things that Dan was referencing on his last slide there. So I'll put a little bit of information on how you can update your product codes in that email when I send it out. With that, we wanted to open it up. I know we have about 10 minutes. Wanted to open up if anybody has any questions for any of us.
Absolutely. And feel free to ask. Nothing's off limits. That is the most profound questioning I've ever heard. And if you guys want to talk more one-on-one, there's lots of ways to get in touch with us as well. We're going to be sending out some follow-up emails that say, hey, book a free call review with us. Let's go through it together. And we can answer any questions you have as far as customer experience is concerned. But look at the connection here. ARA is giving you a way to get new customers and using a lot of the budget that comes from the ARA membership to make sure that you guys are getting more business. And then they bring us in to say, now let's make sure when they get more business, they keep it and it keeps growing. This is a lot of support. A lot of organizations and different industries don't give this type of support. So kudos to you as ARA members. You get some benefits that a lot of people in associations don't. And thank you, ARA, for being so supportive of your members.
I just want to thank you all for taking the time to join us today. I know how busy everyone is. So I love these calls. I just think it's super constructive for us as an organization. And it's just great to just get together and just share this information. So I really appreciate it.
So the question that Jeff asked was, are you able to break down the impressions by state and metropolitan area?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jeff, and it'll probably take me some time to pull those analytics, but if you drop your email in the chat, I can definitely send you a follow-up email with just, so basically what I can do is I can send you all the website traffic and I can send you what we have from our media buys as well. So the website traffic broken down by those areas as well. Awesome. Let me just copy and paste it so I have it. Now I'll get that to you this week for sure.
So can I ask a quick question to everyone in the room? Let's see if we get a little response from this. What can we do most to help you? That's my biggest question, because that's what we're all here for. Ooh, Greg, great question about using automated answering systems. It really depends on how it's set up and what the role is, because you can, if you're really thinking from a customer's perspective, use technology to make building that relationship of trust easier and less time consuming, but it really depends on how you set it up. And there is a way to do it well. And there's many ways to do it wrong that we've all experienced over and over again. How many of us, and I had this experience recently, how many of us, when we called the bank, we know exactly which numbers to push to hurry up and get to a real person? So there's a way to do it right. And the way to do it right is helping the customer have an experience that gets them to the best right person when they need to, versus just get me to anybody because the system's not going to help me. And so, yeah, there's a lot of training we do on setting those up the right way to integrate and build that personal connection. Obviously, a lot of those details we can't go into right now. So it's a hit or miss depending on how you set it up is the real answer to your question, Greg. If you want to know more, though, I'm happy to get on a call. Let's have a conversation about it. I'll walk you through how I would set it up so that it builds a personal connection.
Does anybody else have any questions for now?
Somebody's talking and sounds like they're really distant.
Sure, that is. All right, everybody. Well, thank you again for jumping on the call. I will be sending out the call recording once we get it back to everybody who is on the call and everybody who registered, along with just some of the general information, the link if you are interested in taking advantage of some of those free call coaching sessions, entering your products onto our Rental HQ site. So really try to set you guys up for more success.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.